Welcome back to Let's Talk Harlingen. I'm Mayor Norma Sepulveda.
And I'm Cassandra Concilio.
We're here to keep you updated, informed, and connected to your city.
Let's get into it.
And in 3, 2, 1.
Hi, Harlingen, and welcome back to Let's Talk Harlingen. This is episode 10, and today we have a commission recap for you of our commission meeting that we had this week. But before we get into that, we have a lot of hot topics, Cassandra, and we need to let the people
Yeah.
know.
We need to let the people know that this week we had a really exciting announcement. And I know has just been waiting for this. Say, who are you bringing down for Rio Fest? And Rio Fest is going to be September 26th and 27th. And you can buy your tickets now at harlingenriofest.com. And I really just am excited to say we're going to have the Randy Rogers
I
on Saturday
know.
night. And so that means everybody in Harlingen, Texas better be at the Harlingen baseball field to listen to music, to have fun, to enjoy the kids' activities, to just really bring back the great memories of Rio Fest.
I know. I'm super excited. This is an event that I remember going to as a kid. And I just think everybody in Harlingen was just kind of on pins and needles,
Yes.
wanting to know. And so we've got Randy Rogers Band on Saturday and then Grupo Signo on Friday. And tell the people about, our collaboration with the consulate too, because that's gonna be great.
Yeah. So a thing that makes us different, the Rio Fest event, is that we have really authentic vendors from Mexico that are going to be joining us. The consulate from Mexico in Brownsville is going to bring us tons of vendors that have handmade jewelry and purses, and some of them bring candies, which I love. But they bring very authentic flavor to the event. And these are vendors that don't go to every single event that we have. You know, we have other
Right.
vendor markets in the city, which we love, right?
Of
But we
course.
wanted to differentiate this one. So one is bringing special vendors from Mexico, and we also really incorporate the kids school district. Harlingen ISD is such a great partner of ours
Right.
throughout the year that we want to showcase what the children work on. You know, sometimes they do a lot of projects and they're practicing for things, and maybe only the parents go to the concerts and or activities that they have. And this time we're bringing it to the whole city, and actually we invite everybody from the Rio Grande Valley to come.
Absolutely. I love it. And I know that on a previous podcast, we talked about Harlingen being a music friendly city, and you're giving a platform to a lot of local bands that are going to be playing as well. So it's going to be great, great for the entire family. I'm super excited, and the food is always great. There's just so much to do for the entire family. So, Rio Fest 2025. Can't wait. And this theme, tell people what the theme is this year.
The theme is Western, and it's such a good, like, feel-good theme because I don't know if you know this, remember Six Shooter Junction I can't say the
Junction.
word. Six Shooter Junction was a
Yes.
nickname that the city of Harlingen had, and we're really playing off the Western country vibes that we have. We have Tejano music, we have country music, all of that blends together in this theme.
Yeah. So, get your boots and your cowboy
Yes.
hats and come meet us at the baseball park in September.
26th and 27th.
Yeah.
So we also have a really neat thing that we incorporate every year, which is kids 13 and under are free. So kids 13 and under are free. Adults have to pay. We have very reasonable prices because we really want to include everybody in the community to come out. We don't want it to be a burden. We want this to be a fun and exciting event. And right now we understand that, hey, we want you to come out here and we don't want anything to be a reason for you not to come out, and it's really easy to buy the tickets online, harlingenrealfest.com,
Yep.
$7 for a day pass, $10 for a weekend pass. You cannot beat those prices. You cannot beat seeing these
No.
bands for those prices. There's something for the whole family, and it's just really good family fun.
It is, and I love that you're highlighting those prices because we just look across the region at the different festivals and that are happening around the community, and it is really the price point that I think is going to be super inclusive of all. $7. I mean, I know that you cannot go get a meal at Whataburger or McDonald's or any of those things anymore for $7. So we're real super excited that we're going to be able to help everyone come out to this event, and then of course the kids, like you said, are free. community, lots and lots. Where can people, because we can be here all day talking about this,
Yeah.
but where can they get information, all things Real Fest?
So if you go to harlingenriofest.com, you can buy your ticket there. You see everything we offer. And if you wanted to become a sponsor at the event, you can also submit a request on the website and we could see how you can become involved.
Awesome. And I think the one final thing we'll talk about, well, about Real Fest is that this is put on by Visit Harlingen, which
Yes.
is your department, and your department is funded by Hot Tax. So I know a lot of people always ask, like, are you using general fund money? Are you using my taxpayer money to put on these events that maybe, for whatever reason, it's not the band they wanted,
Yeah.
or maybe it is the band that they wanted.
Mhm.
But nonetheless, this is all Hot Tax money. So the people that come into our community as tourists and they stay in hotels, rent cars, and things like that in our community is how these wonderful events are put on. And that's why we invite everyone from the Rio Grande Valley and from afar to come and enjoy this wonderful event.
Yes, this is definitely put on by hot tax dollars, and a lot of people don't understand what hot tax means, like, it's not a bad tax, it's actually a great tax. So it's called Hotel Motel Fund is what we use for Visit Harlingen, and these are funds that are used specifically for marketing and for attracting tourists to our
Right.
city. So putting on events, two-day events really do attract people to come and stay, and all of our hotels offer discount prices for this weekend. So we want you to come and stay. We want you to have a staycation that weekend. We invite everybody from the Rio Grande Valley, from Texas, everywhere. Maybe you grew up coming to this event and you live far away. Well, this is a perfect weekend for you to come stay in a hotel, come back and give back to your city because this is how we promote our city through events in travel and tourism. And it's really a special event that we have. It's the premier event for the city of Harlingen, and we just want to keep making it bigger and better. And the more people that come and stay, that's how we make it happen.
Absolutely.
We have another exciting event this week, and that is the Enchanted Garden Weddings and Quinceañera Expo happening at the Harlingen Convention Center. So this is a really fun event that the convention center is putting on, and it is everything, a one-stop shop of how to plan your quinceañera, how to plan your wedding, and it has all the vendors there. So if you are right now in the process, my daughter's 3. Do you think I should go?
I think you should definitely go.
I should go this weekend, August 10th, to the Harlingen Convention Center. The event starts at 1 and it ends at 5, and it is a free event. But
It
they
is.
do want to gauge how many people are coming in. So you should get on Eventbrite and try to get yourself a ticket. You can also I think you can walk up right there. But it's at the convention center on August 10th. Everything you need to know about weddings and quinceañeras. So it's really fun.
It is, and I think it's a great opportunity for, like you mentioned, right, people that are planning for quinceañeras or their wedding. I know that a lot of people in the community have asked me, like, "Where do I get a dress? Where can I get more information?" And this is a one-stop shop, like you said, and so I think it's a good opportunity, and they do these in the Upper Valley, right? And so this is gonna be the first time here in Harlingen, and the lady that is putting this on, she came over to City Hall to talk to me about it, and I know that she's really done such a great job organizing and putting this together. And it's free for the community and it's a bunch of local vendors and just kind of highlight them. So I think it's important. And also to take a look at the Harlingen Convention Center.
Yeah, sometimes you wanna just check out what are the trends, what are the new I
Right,
know every event, every year, they have different things, right? Some years it used to be the balloon entrance, and then it's like a light tunnel entrance.
right,
All those trends are gonna be displayed, and maybe you need ideas, and you didn't maybe think that you could do something at the convention center, and this gives you the opportunity to see, "Oh, I can break it up into smaller
right.
rooms," and this is just a great way for you if you're planning an event, if something's on the horizon, to get out there and check it out. And there is a grand prize of a quinceañera dress, Mayor, that you can win.
Well, I was saying, when I was growing up, I wanted to have a quinceañera. I was always, what was that, 27 dresses or
Mhm.
27,
Always a
always
bridesmaid.
a bridesmaid, never the bride. Well, I was always in the quinceañera, but I didn't get to have my own quinceañera. So maybe I should
This is your
go. This is
chance.
my
I think
chance.
this is your chance. In our next episode, we're gonna it'll be just you
I
and
will
your
invite
dress.
everyone to my quinceañera, maybe when I turn 50, but that
That'll
might be
be
a little odd, right? So
No, it'll be fun. I think it's fun. And I just know that so many people want didn't know if they could, and this will give them the opportunity to see if they can. So Joe, go to the Harlingen Convention Center on August 10th
Yes.
to the Enchanted Garden Wedding and Quinceañera Expo.
Yes, and I'm gonna go for a little while. Maybe I will get a
Maybe you'll
dress.
see the mayor. Shopping.
Yes.
All right. Another thing that you have at the commission meeting, because this is our commission meeting recap,
Yes.
you have a pet of the week. And normally it's a puppy, right? A little cute dog. But
Right.
this week we had a little kitty, and it is a tabby kitty. And Brandon's going to put the picture up for us. Like, they had to do a switcheroo on us. Shannon said that
Oh,
the
that's
dog that they were gonna
right.
have got adopted, so it's really cool that we were gonna promote him, but he did it himself. He said, "I don't need your help." He said, "I
I
don't
have
need
my
your help."
family.
And so he got adopted, so we got a little kitty, and she was super cute, and she's still available at the Harlingen Animal Shelter on Markowski, along with so many other pets, and they are waiting for their homes, so everybody get out there. And I know that they are gonna have, they always have continuously vaccine clinics, and,
Right.
you just need to check up on their Facebook. I think that's where they have all the information of, "Hey, I need to get my pet fixed. Can they help me? What's the pricing? Is the doctor in or not?" All of that information is there, or they can just call the Harlingen Animal Shelter. They're just great help over there.
Absolutely, and I think that clinic is happening this weekend, so they definitely want to make sure that they're signed up for that because those, are low-cost vaccines, super important to keep our pets, healthy, and also they have an initiative going on right now, Clear the Shelter, and that
Oh.
is all across the region. So right now is the time to go adopt and go foster and just support, right? I know a lot that we've got a lot of animal lovers in our community, and this is an opportunity. I will say that the city of Harlingen does have an ordinance, and you can only have 5 pets, via ordinance. I have 3, so there's a little bit space. I don't know if my family will allow for it, but if you are like Cassandra and you don't have a pet yet, calling you out every
0
time,
pets?
yes, then, you can foster, and that's a great way to see if you can develop a bond, and if it's something that you wanna do long term, because it's definitely a commitment. You don't want, it's so, when you go to these places and sometimes they're the cutest dogs or the cutest cats and you want to take them home, but it is a full-time job, especially when they're babies. And so this is an opportunity to kind of foster to see if that it's the right pet for you,
I
Cassandra.
did not know that they had a foster program at the Harlingen
Yes.
Animal Shelter.
Yes. And they will give you food, they'll give you supplies, and they'll give you support. And I will support you.
You'll support me?
Yes, yes.
If you can't foster a dog at the moment, you could also drop off a bag of food,
Yes.
not a
Yes.
box,
I'm
a
glad that you know
bag.
that. But there are boxes, I think, for
But you
smaller
could,
pets.
you can support in other ways, right? It's not
Absolutely.
necessarily like, okay, I need to take 10 dogs home because you can't.
Right.
But you can support monetarily by taking them for a walk, by going
Yes.
and dropping off food, and, getting the word out there that, hey, if you are in the market for one, right? Because there are people, like if you're hanging out with your friends, they're like, you
Right.
know what, maybe it's time for me, lead them in that direction to Markowski.
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, definitely. When we adopted Goose, before we went my Evan and I went to go visit him for, like, a week,
Oh.
and at the shelter, and then we're like, "Okay, he needs to
It's
come home."
time.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. So
So you get that opportunity to, like, just go hang out a little bit, see what's going on, and then the more you go, I think the more you'll fall in love with them.
yes.
And you had
So
another announcement yesterday.
yes, UTRGV, it is their 10th anniversary. Can you believe
I
that?
actually can't. Congratulations, UTRGV,
Yes,
10 years
yes,
old.
10 years in the region, just explosive growth all throughout the Rio Grande Valley. I know Dr. LaFontaine was there. He is the dean of the School of Podiatry, and this school is just so important here in the city of Harlingen because of the fact that, I talked a little bit about this at the commission meeting, that we have, unfortunately, all the kind of food that we have here in the valley, there is a high prevalence for diabetes. And so with that comes issues, and lots of folks unfortunately have problems, and you see amputations that come from, this type of disease, and it's really the gateway to more diseases. And it's really something that I think that the whole valley is struggling with, and to know that they have opened the podiatric school here in Harlingen, I had the opportunity to meet with the first cohort, and Dr. LaFontaine was saying they're graduating in 2026. So
Wow.
we're putting out doctors in collaboration, of course, with UTRGV here. We've got the School of Physical Therapy opening, School of Occupational Therapy. They bought that old United Health building, and so lots of opportunity. We have the School of Medicine. We're going to have a preservation clinic opening soon, a research center. It's just so much happening, and of course, throughout the Rio Grande Valley, right? And then of course we've got the Vaqueros
Yes.
football game that is going to come be happening really, really soon. I can't wait to go out there with my family as well. Go Vaqueros, right? But we're just excited to honor them. They've done such great work here, and they really give opportunities to our families, our kids, and those that also want to go back to school. I know that they have these programs like certification programs for the working professional. They have evening classes to be able to get like real estate license. Just different things that you wouldn't think that come from UTRGV. They are just like for everybody. So it's wonderful.
It's a great resource for the community.
Absolutely. Super, super excited. So we did have a rather short agenda this time, which is good. We talk about, long meetings in the past. This was not one of those marathon meetings, but we did have, I wanted to point out, we had a public hearing for the voluntary annexation of 126.50 acres of land to be annexed voluntarily into the city of Harlingen. Last time, I think I told you over the last 3 years, we had a tally going, it was about 600 acres. This puts us over 700 acres, which is important because this tells you people are choosing to live in the city of Harlingen. I think in the past, years past, there was a desirability to live outside the city on the county, have more space, different reasons for wanting to be outside of the city. But this is telling us that, the numbers speak for themselves that, over 700 acres, it means lots and lots of families wanting to choose to live in the city of Harlingen. So I'm super excited about that. We had a public hearing, and then no one showed up to speak at the public hearing. We went through that really quickly. Then we did the companion ordinance and passed. And so unanimously, we approved another 120. I don't even
I mean,
126, 125, I can't read, sorry. This is for all the old people just like me. 126.50 acres of land, into the city of Harlingen, and we had some other kinda housekeeping stuff on our agenda, but then we had some really, really exciting things happening yesterday. I'm just gonna let I know you were a soccer mom,
yes, I
right?
am. I
So
am a
tell
soccer
us
mom.
what happened.
So I think it's very important for us to say like thank you to the Harlingen Rotary Club because it is such it's so important for the clubs to be able to give back to their community, right? That's what
Right,
they do, service above self. But this actually impacts so many parents in the city of Harlingen. And if they come and play from San Benito, La Ferry, wherever they come from,
right,
this is a field, right? Or a big, big fields, a lot of them that are used day in and day out for practice, for games, for just recreational purposes. I know that there's also a little trail that you can do.
mhm.
But thankfully, last night we accepted a donation from the Rotary Club of Harlingen for $100,000. So that is such an incredible amount of money, and we're so thankful that the past presidents thought about this is something that will impact the community. This is something that the future of Harlingen is going to use.
Right.
And we have the land. Let's make it great. So the Rotary Club of Harlingen is giving us $100,000 for the Harlingen Soccer Complex. And this is the Centennial Soccer Project. And this means that they're going to add shaded bleachers, benches for the players, and water stations. So right now there's 12 fields, right? There's like
Right.
a championship field also, the one that I'm always playing at. Just kidding. But those
But not
fields
really.
those fields need shade. They need
Yes.
benches for the players, and they need because we need to protect the kids.
Right,
We
right.
obviously it's like we live in South Texas. It's
Mhm.
100 degrees outside.
Year
The
round.
kids need to have shade. Sometimes us parents, like I have literally stood behind the kids with an umbrella, right? And then the umbrella's flying, and then I'm flying because it's just hilarious. But now they're gonna have that shade. They're gonna have that
Right.
support from the city, and I'm so happy. I'm so glad. I know on behalf of all the moms and dads and the soccer players and the coaches and everybody, thank you so much for this $100,000 is going to make a great big difference at the
Right.
Harlingen Soccer Complex, and we're gonna be able to attract tournaments, we're gonna be able to attract teams from all over the place because Harlingen is going to be welcoming everybody, and we're so thankful. We're just so thankful, and $100,000, wow. I mean, thank you to the Harlingen Rotary Club.
I know. It is incredible to think about all of the, planning that went, behind this initiative, the collaboration, having a vision. And I know the past president was there, that this was kind of his
I think it was Joseph
project.
Albury,
Yes,
yes.
and so this was his project. But they pass the baton and they keep the momentum going,
Yes.
and knowing that this is going to make a significant impact. And so people are going to probably be wondering, on the agenda it said 90,000. They had actually were able to fundraise more. And I know that they did a plug for, they have a golf tournament coming up and Shrimp Fest. But it's these types of events where they're able to raise money to be able to give back to our community, and to really to the city, to the children
Yes.
of the city of Harlingen. Kids like yours, we're super excited about it. And speaking of kids, there were a lot of kids that showed up that are actually soccer players, and they were in their little uniforms or
That's cute.
jerseys, so adorable. But I want to take a moment to give a shout out to one specific little boy, and I'm gonna ask Brandon to put this up. This is Cooper. Cooper is a young boy here in the city of Harlingen, soccer player, came with his team, super excited to come to a city commission meeting. And Cooper waited with his mom until the end of the commission meeting to chat with me because he has an interest in government.
I love
Isn't
that.
that adorable?
And that's really kind of the mom to stay also and to support her son.
Yes, yes.
Wow. Well, thank you, Cooper, for your showing interest. And he's going to go next week at school and they're going to say, "What did you do over the summer?" And he's going to say, "I learned how to run the city of Harlingen." That's what
Yes,
he's going to
yes, yeah.
say.
I invited him back. I said, "Whenever you wanna come, we'll give you a tour, hang out." Just we wanna foster those dreams in little ones here in our community. I just thought it was super exciting because it's hard to get adults to stay through the whole meeting if they don't have to. So, for Cooper to do it voluntarily, and his mom was the sweetest also. And so, he said he knew about city government already, which is just really, inspiring, right? To
Yes.
know that our little ones are looking at what we're doing. And that's why it's super important. I tell this to, the guys on the commission all the time, that, kids are watching. They're
Yeah.
watching how you carry yourself. They're watching what you're saying, what you're doing. And they talked about wanting to contribute and come to the cleanup that we're going to have at the city of Harlingen. So I'll get to see Cooper again. Super excited.
Yes. Oh, thank you so much. And thank you to the Rotary Club of Harlingen. $100,000 for the Harlingen Soccer Complex going to go a long way.
Yes.
And we cannot wait until it's ready. And I will be out there with my boys and be up there supporting. And probably my daughter will be playing on the swing set out there. It's just great fun. So thank you so much. I can't wait to see how that comes out. And another big event in Harlingen is turning 25 years old, and that is Harlingen Market Days on Jackson Street.
Right
And
here.
it is right here in Jackson Street, literally on my outside of my window. And this event is attended by thousands.
Yes.
Thousands of people come on the first Saturday of the month from
Hmm.
9 to 3 on Jackson Street, and they're able to shop, eat, look at, just hang out with friends. They can grab a cup of coffee. They can, I mean, if they intend to, they can also have a beer out there, right? You could do it all
It's
on Jackson
okay. It's
Street
okay.
on the first Saturday of the month. And they turn 25, and they also have a nonprofit portion of of market days. So market days has also given $100,000 to add bathrooms to downtown. And it's, sometimes people would be like, "What? You're gonna spend $100,000 on bathrooms?" But everybody goes.
It's
It
something everybody
it's
needs.
something that we have had a fabulous event every single month, and, we rent bathrooms, right?
Right.
It's a part of the infrastructure that needs to be done, and thank you to the Market Days, nonprofit for, including this in their budget and thinking of how they could help the event continue to stay another 25 years, right? Events, it's very difficult to probably last 10 years, and so being at 25 is a great accomplishment for them, and
Right.
I know so many families going, I know you guys love going, and, I know it's just we wish them all the luck to continue going another 25.
Yeah, it's super exciting. As a matter of fact, I think it was maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I was in the Harlingen Bazaar with Evan, and I was talking to some of the vendors there, and they were saying that people come from all over, even all the way from Rio Grande City. There were people on that specific day, and I thought that is pretty awesome. It is something that Harlingen's known for, and not a lot of people know that this nonprofit is the one that runs at least the market days side that belongs to this group, and then the city has expanded it, to provide even more
At Centennial
space.
Plaza,
Yes, at
yes.
Centennial Plaza. But yeah, we're excited about these opportunities, $100,000, and this tells you that these are individuals that are invested in downtown, and that this is something that they want. So what they're saying is, City of Harlingen, we want to help and collaborate with you because this is something that we, our business owners, need, and those that come to market days. So we're excited about that, and we'll, I'm sure, have more information on that. So, wow, $200,000 donated to the city of Harlingen. I love being on the receiving end of funds to
Free
go to
money
our
again.
community. Yes, yes. So it was exciting. We took some great pictures, and I encourage everybody to take a look at the video from the city commission meeting because it was a great opportunity to just highlight the great people that we have in our community. On another note, back to business and the city commission, we did have a MOU on the agenda, which is a memorandum of agreement to be able to work with the drainage districts in our community. So we have drainage district 3, 5, and 6. What a lot of people don't know is that in the city of Harlingen, we have the city probably maybe even a quarter, I would say, of all of the ditches within the city of Harlingen are actually city maintained or city owned. We don't have the jurisdiction to do it. And so, what does that mean? That means that there's a lot happening in our city that we really don't have control of. However, people in the city of Harlingen, when you're driving down the road in the city, anything that is within the city, we believe that this belongs to the city of Harlingen
Yeah.
because that's where we live. We don't know kind of, getting into the weeds of how things work in irrigation districts and drainage districts and things like that. However, we all have a common purpose, right? All the drainage districts, the irrigation districts, and the city of Harlingen to ensure that we are, attacking drainage collaboratively, regionally, and that's what this is about. So we are in agreement to work together. And I know that the commission has tasked them with now we've got this approval. We're going to be working together, but we want a list of those projects by priority. And then we're going to be sharing that with the community. And this is all in an effort to ensure that we're doing everything we can in regards to drainage. We've seen what 22 inches of rain can do in such a short period of time, and we know what we have identified the areas that needed improvement, and a lot of those were outside of our jurisdiction, outside of our control. But that doesn't mean that we ignore it. It means we work together, and they have all been phenomenal. All of them are working really, really hard, and now with this collaboration, it's going to be great. So I'm
Now
excited
it's
about
set
that.
in stone, but I do know, yes, everybody's working together for the
Right.
greater of Harlingen to make sure that the drainage works properly
Right.
and that there is an understanding between the districts and the city itself. And like you said, we can't say this is not ours. We're
Right.
out of here. No,
Right.
we all are working together, and you know, it's great. It's a great accomplishment that you guys did.
It is, there's lots of entities at play, but the city, we talked about the cities working with TxDOT, working with the drainage
Correct.
districts, and all of the cities working together throughout the Rio Grande Valley. This is kind of just that, in that same initiative in working regionally, we can also do that with drainage as well. So it's going to be really good for our community. Next line of business, we had consideration and possible action to propose a desired tax rate for 2025. So, for those that want to go on to watch the city commission meeting, they'll see that we had a workshop before. So, there was a workshop that was posted that lasted about 10-15 minutes, and it was a presentation of our tax rate or potential tax rates to be adopted now that we have those certified tax rolls from the county. We talked a little bit about that, and then there was an action item on the agenda for the city commission meeting. And so, for people just to kind of really, give the most basic form of how this works is we had multiple workshops. We had 4 budget workshops, and on top of our city commission meetings. And these budget workshops were to work through all of the asks from all the different departments. And the only way that we can do that is based on a certain tax rate. So, what finance department did and city management, what they used is last year's tax rate to build a budget around that. So, that's what we did through multiple workshops. Then we get the certified tax rolls and we see what is recommended as what's considered and I have it here, kind of give you a little bit of a breakdown. And this is
A small packet.
it's a small packet, but super important, information for people to know is that so in our 2024 tax rate here in the city of Harlingen was 0.527524. That's the tax rate, which is a little confusing, right? So
7
what is
digits
that?
or something.
But we have talked about that before, and that's really one of the lowest in the region and in Cameron County. So we kind of looked at that and thought, okay, if we have the same tax rate, right, then we can build our budget around that. So it turned out that the voter approval tax rate is 0.528560, which based on their calculations is just slightly higher than what we had. Not I mean, it's practically the same, but that's that adjustment, if we were to adopt that, it would mean that after we did all of our, calculations, that we would be kind of the revenue loss would be about 56,000 if we adopted that tax rate. And so what we did is we had an analysis, and they can go look at
Presentation.
the presentation on on the city commission meeting and look to see what those recommendations were. And so what Gabe did is he gave us several options to choose from, and the commission decided to adopt temporarily, I would say, because we have to have another reading and there's just more. It's kind of a work in progress, but it will decrease the tax rate from last year, which would result in about 136,000 or so loss of revenue from what we budgeted in our workshop. But it's important to try to help, right, with the taxpayer to ensure that we are continuously driving that tax rate down. And so that was a good compromise. And that's kind of what the commission decided on that. But again, this is not set in stone. This was the first reading. We still have to have public hearings. We know there's just more to come on that. But that's kind of how that works out. And that was, of course, something really important that we covered at the commission meeting.
I mean, these numbers are very technical because they go to so many, very much down to the decimal, so many
Right.
digits. And like you said, it is a temporary because you have to do something. Like there has to be a decision made, right? So yeah.
Right.
So right now there's more talks. You've already had 4 budget workshops,
Yes.
and the city manager brings these options to you after reviewing the city as a whole, right? So there's so
Right.
many components, going through it, and we do have the full presentation online, and people want to kind of dig into it more, they can do it there. So
Right. I think it's important. One of the takeaways I think is that in the state of Texas, when you look at Texas as opposed to all the other states, a lot of people are coming to Texas because of the way our system is set up, right? We have property tax, we don't have a state income tax. You go to other states and they have a state income tax and you have state property tax. And so lots of folks are just feeling like they're just being taxed out of their, the in those states that they could find a better place to live, and a lot of people moving to South Texas, which we have experienced, which is wonderful, right?
mhm.
Growth in the city of Harlingen. But in the legislature, probably in 2018 or so, um, passed a bill that changed the way property taxes were collected in municipalities and capped it at 3.5%. So in any given year, there can only be an increase in revenue of 3.5%. That has been what the law is. And right now, the legislature is looking at reducing that to 2.5%, which I understand, the thought process behind that. However, there won't be any direct appropriations to cities. So that's something that we were talking about a little bit at the commission meeting and thinking about, okay, what are we gonna do if, this 3.5% that, which in reality is a very small amount when you're thinking about all of the services that you have to provide a city. And moving forward, we wanna make sure that the tax rate that we adopt is sustainable for growth in the future. We've got 700 or so acres of, being voluntarily annexed, which means additional services for all of those homes, and in addition to that, we have what's called collective bargaining agreements with our first responders, fire, and police, and I'm really proud that the city, commission has been super supportive of our first responders, and they have the agreements that they've gotten over the last few years from fire and police have been the best ever, in their own words, because we want to make sure that they're compensated, the risk that they take every day, the sacrifice that both them and their families make, they should be paid a livable wage. And we want to continue to be able to do that. And we know we've got the collective bargaining for PD coming up next year. So these are all important things to consider for the commission to consider, understanding that we want to do right by the citizens of Harlingen, right by our employees, and definitely, our first responders too. So lots of information, but at our next city commission recap, we'll probably have more information to talk about that.
Yeah, I know it is just a lot of numbers, a lot of things to keep in mind. I remember in 2018 when it was lowered to 3.5%, we want to continue to provide the services to the citizens.
Mhm.
And then that cap, I remember it being like,
Yeah, I was it's so interesting, right? Because as a citizen, I think people forget, I'm still Norma, right? I'm a mom. I live here. I have a family. I pay taxes. And I was around in 2018 when this happened, and it was really interesting because the way that the commission responded is that they actually increased the tax rate because they were looking towards the future saying, "Hey, we're not going to be able to increase." They had kept the tax rate the same for years and years and years, and I remember sitting on the other side and thinking, "Well, why are you increasing taxes?" And being a little bit upset about it and saying, "Hey, this isn't right." But what they were doing is setting us up in the future for people like me that are now here on the city commission and looking and to say, "Okay, if they wouldn't have increased it, would we have been able to decrease it?" So it all kind of, it's real easy to just kind of sit back and look at something and not look at it comprehensively and say, why are they, this is a increase, so this is not something that I'm supportive, which is I was one of those people, right? In because you look at your tax bill and you get a little frustrated.
yeah.
And so I remember that happening in 2018, didn't have a full understanding, and now I guess it's come full circle. We have a different commission now, and our goal is to continue to decrease that tax rate. So we're not going to take that aggressive approach that was taken in 2018. But, that was a decision that was made for the future of Harlingen, and here we are. And so I just want to make sure that the people that come after this commission 10, 20 years from now, they think that the decisions that the commission are making right now are the best for the future and that they inherit something that they can work with. And I think that's what they were thinking back in 2018, but I wasn't following,
Yeah, the budget for a city, especially, a city of Harlingen size, it is complicated.
right?
There is a lot of nuances, there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of digits, there's the book is like they don't even use a 3-ring binder. They use like a 5-ring binder or something like that. It is literally
It
huge,
is.
and for you to be and also they use that different font and, like green screen type of
Right,
font they use,
right,
and
right.
there's columns and it's long and it's legal size. It's a big, very complicated thing. But you can learn about it if you kind of follow along on the budget hearings that we
Yeah,
we stream them all live if you wanna get in a little bit more in detail of it, and that kinda leads us into the next item that you guys approved last night. So it was consideration and possible action to approve a resolution calling and ordering the November 4th, 2025 City of Harlingen general election to elect members for the position of mayor at large and one of those, member of the city commissioner of District 1, and 1 member for the city commissioner district 2 in the city of Harlingen. So this is where you guys approved that we are gonna have elections on that day, so
that's correct.
November 4th. And the city of Harlingen website now has this cool feature where if you don't know what your district is and if it's your time to vote, you can put your address in it and it will say you are in district 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Right.
address is not recognized by this, submit button, then you are not in the city of Harlingen city limits, right? You might not know that because sometimes, like, you just were not aware of that your actual home is not within city limits. And if you're not within city limits, you do get to vote in county elections and other elections,
Right,
but, it's just how the lines are drawn, right? That's all it is, and there has to be a border within our city,
right.
and if you don't know if your election, if you're up to can vote for this time, go check out harlingentx.gov, put your address in, and it'll give you that information right away.
Yeah, that's definitely important. And I know that the Cameron County also has on their webpage lots of useful
Oh,
information too. So people that maybe they don't know if they're registered to vote, you can go onto their website, enter your information. It'll give you, where you're supposed to vote, your precinct, those kinds of things. One of the things that's is really, really neat about Cameron County is that there has been a change to be more voter friendly. And so their Cameron County elections now county-wide. So if you live in the city of Harlingen, you work in Brownsville, you work in San Benito, anywhere within the county, you can vote at any location throughout the county for city elections, which is a great
wow.
way to really just open up opportunities for people. And like you said, a lot of people, unfortunately, might not know if they are in the city or not. One way to really identify is how you said to go online and see and enter in your address. It's confusing for people, and I've learned this because over the last 3 years, a lot of people will tell me, "I live inside. I live in Harlingen, but I don't live in the city." And so that has been a reoccurring theme. And what that is when you look at the city of Harlingen, you have Harlingen and Primera, Combs, and Palm Valley. If you live in Primera, your address will say Primera, Combs, it'll say Combs, Palm Valley, same thing, and then Harlingen. But everything that is not within those, cities that are in the outskirts of the county, those will have a Harlingen address. And so that's where the confusion lies. They're like, my address is Harlingen, and I don't understand why I am not part of, this election. It is because you're in fact outside in the county. There is no address that says county, Texas, right?
Yeah,
And
I
so
think it's more
that's
like postal service, like,
right.
thing.
And so it's and that's the confusion, but those folks are represented too. They have county commissioners. They don't have a mayor or a city commissioner, but they do have county commissioners. And so that's why when we have events that are for city services, like the clean, they do where they do a drive, like a trash drive, where you can come bring tires and appliances and things like that. Those are services for Harlingen taxpayers, and unfortunately, that kind of
That's why
leaves
they
out.
request you to bring, like, your bills
Right, to
and your ID.
determine because these are services that are, really put on by taxpayer dollars, so it's only fair, right, for those services to be to them. But great information, yep, called the election, information is available on the City of Harlingen website, Cameron County, website, it's just important for everybody to register to vote.
Yeah, I know we'll put on the city Facebook, the locations where you can vote at
Right,
and the, early voting locations, early voting dates and times. I know a lot of people, I mean, I think 99% of people work, right? So you gotta know, when can I vote? Where can I vote? What time can I vote? And am I registered? And so all those things are important for us to communicate to the citizens.
absolutely.
And if they have any questions, go on harlingentx.gov, go to our website. We got all that information and our Facebook. We're gonna start probably putting out more information on that just so we really communicate and the citizens have their opportunity and their voice can be heard. So, it was not a
Absolutely.
long meeting,
It
and
was
you got through it
not.
all, and we got $200,000, so that's fun, and you got a memorandum of understanding with the drainage districts, and so we are
Yes,
continuing the efforts in that. It's just I think you got a lot of stuff done quickly, and it was a fun meeting, and think
it
next one will be in
was.
2 weeks.
That is right. So we do it the 1st and the 3rd, week of every month. The only thing that, I'll just add to kind of wrap this up is we did have executive session. People look through
Oh,
that
yes.
agenda and they'll have several items on there. Lots of them are protected under attorney-client privilege for, various reasons, and those are on the agenda. But we did have some a line item for the EDC for what was called Project Blade. Project Roosevelt, and Project Career. And so whenever you see this, for the people that are following at home and that look at the agendas, that means that these are projects coming into our community. They have these names, kind of cool names at the
Code names.
yes, and so you can try to
Yes.
figure it out what it is. But this just means that there's interest, there's projects, and the way the EDC works, which we will be highlighting really soon here in on the podcast. But the EDC has their own budget, their own board. But once their board approves something, it comes to the commission for approval as well. And so that's what you'll see here. And so we're excited about these developments that are coming to our community. And as soon as we have the opportunity to share, we will do that. But yeah, it was a good meeting, rather short meeting, lots of good information. I hope that people are enjoying these commission recaps. If there is anything else that people want to know, we need them to kind of just, I don't know if you want to
Right
share about
in.
writing in.
We did not have a question this week, and again, I know sometimes people say, "Well, like, I wanna talk to you," and this is a great way of talking to
Hmm.
you and asking us. We can clarify anything that they
Right.
have. We have no listeners' questions this week. We still have Yeti cups to give away. If we do read your question on air, you get to get a Yeti cup from Let's Talk Harlingen, and you can email Let's Talk Harlingen at harlingentx.gov. Please email us. We want to answer your questions. We want to know what you guys have, what your thoughts are, and we're happy to help.
Yep.
On the commission meeting, whenever it's executive session, I feel like I kind of tune out because it is something that we can't really talk about until
Right.
it's set in stone.
Right.
And so I love that you have the inside gossip and I don't have it. But
Well, I have the inside gossip, but you have sit tea,
we
which people
do.
can.
We have CT, and everybody can watch that every week on City of Harlingen Facebook and visit Harlingen Facebook, where Delma and I tell everybody what's going on. And
Mhm.
what I want to tell everybody is open your phone right now and buy a ticket to Rio Fest September 26th and 27th. It's super easy. I already did it on my phone. I already bought 2 tickets, and you can too. It's the best event coming up, and we're ready to welcome everybody back to the Harlingen baseball field.
Yes, exciting. And I guess that's it, Cassandra.
Yes.
Another episode. Thank you so much for being here with me. It is definitely better having the commission recap with my co host. I think everybody agrees. So we will see everybody back for episode 11 next time.
Bye, everybody.
That's it for this episode of Let's Talk Harlingen.
If you like what you heard today, make sure to subscribe on our YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts.
We've got more conversations coming your way.
Let's talk again soon, Harlingen.